the BMW 3 Series. This one is the new 330i, which means it has the 3-liter inline-6, right? No. Is anyone else as confused by BMW's nonsensical nomenclature as I am? Because this is the 2017 330i xDrive, which used to be the 328i and is a step below the 340i. Now, back in the day, 330 meant that it had a 3-liter inline-6, and the 328i would have been a 2.8-liter inline-6. But no, recently the 328i was a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo, and confusingly, this 2017 330 also has a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo. So the new name makes as little sense as the old name. Thankfully, this Turbo 4 is producing an impressive 248 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque very low in the rev range. With the Sport transmission with paddle shifters, the M Sport package, and a $5,550 premium package, it comes in at a hair under $60,000 Canadian. That's a pretty decent sum for a middle-of-the-range BMW sedan, especially since some feel that BMW lost a bit of driver engagement with the chassis redesign in 2012. You see, the thing is, BMW has reworked the car a bit for 2017, and as you can see, they've renamed it the 330i. So are they on their way to getting their mojo back? Let's find out.
One thing that really bothered me about the first generation of this 3 Series was the steering, okay? Because it's electric. Now, I'm an E46 owner, as many of you know, and one of the main reasons that I got a BMW, an older BMW, was because the steering is so good. There's a lot of feel, there's a lot of feedback. No, it's not like a Lotus, but it's much better than your average car. Now, this has all electric steering, okay? So, do I love it? No, I don't. But is it a deal breaker for this car? Not even close. I'm gonna be straight up with you at this point. Pretty much, I haven't driven a car in a long time that I've liked commuting in nearly as much as this car. I adore this vehicle. Okay, I've had it for 3 days now, and I'm having a really hard time finding any flaws with it. No, the steering is not as communicative. Even if you put it in sport mode, it gets a little bit of weight, but there's like a dead point on center, and it feels artificial the way that it loads up. But I'm just grasping at straws because the rest of the car is so sensationally good. I love the way it drives. It responds so well to inputs that I can't find any faults with it. The seating position is essentially perfect, okay? BMW has nailed this, and I'm so happy that they've prioritized this still. The steering wheel comes out at me quite a long distance. So what that means is that I can pull my seat back and get a perfect distance for the pedals. And then I can put my seat back upright, bring the steering wheel towards me, and I've got basically a perfect driving position. I cannot think of a way of improving this in any way. I don't feel like I'm sitting super high up. Don't quote me on this. I drove the M2 recently, as many of you saw. I think that the driving position in the M2 is higher than this because I feel more planted to the ground in this. I've got the seat as low as it goes, that's what I always do. And I've got the steering wheel as far as it comes out to me, and I've got a perfect position. Now, the wheel that comes with the M Sport package here is awesome. It's the same wheel, or broadly the same that you get in the M cars, and it's the perfect size. The Nappa leather is so nice, it's so smooth, it fits my hands perfectly, and it's just really well designed. The buttons are not cluttered, it's easy to work out, as is the rest of the interior, actually. So I'll talk about that for a second, because we're sitting here at a stoplight and have nothing else to do. So the interior of this car is quite amazing, okay? It's not at the level of Audi or the Mercedes C-Class, I'll give you that, but there's really no point in even making a big deal out of that, because it's like comparing a Rolex and an Omega. Yeah, one is arguably a little bit better than the other in terms of the way that it's put together and maybe its history, who knows, but you're still in a premium watch, right? So this is the same idea. No, the interior of this is not maybe as good as the A4 in my opinion, but I don't care because it's so nice, right? It's so driver-centered. Everything is spaced perfectly, right? The iDrive controller's in exactly the right spot. I rest my arm perfectly. The materials are very nice. There's some hard plastics down here, but they're not bad plastics, right? They're still very high quality. The fit and finish is basically perfect. Everything lines up. There's no panel gap. The design visually is very nice. The interior of this car is good. It's an A+ interior for me. I love it. Now, onto the iDrive before I get to the way that it drives, because there's been a lot of versions of this over time. This particular one is very good. I haven't used this particular version of iDrive yet in this generation, and I figured this thing out in 5 minutes, basically, honestly, just driving around. There's really nothing to it. There's a home button, there's a menu, and you have vehicle notifications, navigation, communication, media, radio. You select one, and then when you're in there, there's options back and forth. I could select satellite radio, and with this particular package, I have a heads-up display, so everything pops up on the front screen right there so I can see. And if you select map right here, it takes me to navigation. If I select an address, which it does very easily, there's a little thing that I can draw my finger to write the letters if I want, which is kind of cheesy, and I just use voice control. It's kind of cool, I guess. It pops up on the heads-up display and tells me, you know, what lane I need to be in, and at the same time is showing me what station on Sirius XM radio I'm on. This is a lovely commuter car. And it also has connected drive here, right, which connects to the internet and tells me the weather, the news, online search, wiki local, Yelp, Flickr, and all that lovely stuff. Okay, anyway, now to the actual driving of the car. So I talked about the steering already, but I want to talk about the rest of it. Okay, this engine, this is the middle of the range, as I said at the beginning in the voiceover. All right, so there is essentially 3 engines if you want to make it simple. So we have a 4-cylinder twin scroll turbocharged engine under the hood here, and it's making enough horsepower. Okay, I say enough because I can't conceive of a time when I would need more for regular everyday use. No, if you're looking to go to the track with the car, yeah, sure, you want more torque. You don't actually need it, but you could certainly ask for more. But for just ripping around and on the highway, this is everything you need and maybe even a bit more. Now, the transmission in this car, this is the ZF 8-speed gearbox. For a normal transmission, this is by far and away the best that I have used. All right, I just missed my turn there because I'm so excited about the transmission. All right, now, sport mode, click that over. I have the sport option, Sport Plus. All right, downshift into manual. Listen to these shifts. That's fast. Oh my God. Oh, that's quick. Ooh. All right, so it's so quick. Now here's downshifts, ready? All right, so we are on a back road, coming out of the corner in second gear, foot down, response immediate, no lag whatsoever. Shift, boom, up, shift again, boom, so fast. This is immensely satisfying to drive because when you're just commuting to work, it adds a little bit. It's just sporty enough and aggressive enough that you're like, yeah, I'm glad I got this car. Right? So if you're speccing out one of these cars, do yourself a favor, spend the money and get this transmission and the M Sport package because it's cool, it looks good. All right, so this thing does 0 to 60 in, what is it, like 5.6 seconds? Don't quote me on that. If I said the wrong number, I will put it up right here somewhere floating in the air for you to read. But it's quick enough. First gear, down. Like, for a non-M BMW, the drivetrain of this car, completely satisfied. Is there turbo lag? Yes, there's a little bit, but it's nominal. It's not going to be like, oh, I can't get that car because of the turbo lag. No, you'll be totally satisfied. Coming out of the corner in second gear, boom, there's the power. Woo! Now, what about the chassis of the car? It's still very BMW-like. They went with a stiff chassis and slightly softer suspension, which means that it soaks up the bumps while still retaining a large amount of body control. But what I can tell you is that with the xDrive even, all right, going through corners, this will power oversteer. All right? Yes, you heard me. Even with the xDrive, the all-wheel drive, you get on the throttle, exiting a corner, and you power slide out. It is awesome. It is not what you expect with a all-wheel drive car. All right, second gear, turn in. There goes the tail a little bit, and I'm out. That's fun. All right, as a regular car to drive every day, you do not want or need any more oversteer than that. In the winter with the traction control off, I think this car would be a riot, if I'm perfectly honest. So the way that the car turns into the corner, back to the way it's driving, is very BMW-like. It feels very, as they say, on rails, right? Someone once said, if the car is on rails, it means you're not going fast enough. Yes, on a track. But for driving around here in the country, if you just want to carve up some back roads, this car just feels planted. It keeps the wheels on the ground. The suspension is very sophisticated, as you would expect. And as you're coming out of the corner, give it a little bit too much power, and the tail starts to walk away on you. That's just satisfying, aggressive driving. BMW has absolutely nailed it. All right, what else can I say about the way the car drives? Oh, the sound. Everyone has a hard time with this because the sound is synthetic, all right? You know what they've done is they've added cylinders to the sound, because if you open the window and listen to the exhaust, it sounds like a 4-cylinder because, surprise, it is a 4-cylinder. And you kind of get that as it upshifts like you would in a DCT. On the inside of the car, though, as you might have heard a few seconds ago, it sounds like a 6 or an 8. It sounds like there's more cylinders than there is. Now, here's the big question. Do I care? No, not at all. I don't care at all that it sounds synthetic and artificial, because it doesn't sound synthetic. It is artificial. Truly, you cannot tell. You cannot tell when you're driving this car. The way that they've made the sound project from the speakers down here, it reminds me exactly of the induction noise of my inline 6 BMW. It comes from like up here. So I'm not sure what speaker it comes out of or how they have developed it, but the point is that you can't tell that it's synthetic. I mean, like if you're listening, you're like, okay, yeah, maybe that's coming from the speakers, but they've done such a good job with it. I don't care. Like it makes the car sound fun. It tells you where you are in the rev range without having to have the windows down. So don't complain about it. People go, oh, it's not real. It's not motorsport. I don't care. It's still very good. So why does it matter? Here's the spec sheet. I have it here in front of me. Yes, so premium package, $5,550. As I said, Sport line is $3,000. That's the one you want because it comes with the M Sport package, the sport seats, M leather steering wheel, M aerodynamics package, high gloss shadow line. What's a high gloss shadow line? I have no idea, but I'm sure it looks cool. All right, reverse. Yes, so as I said, I don't know why every day of your life you would want a more sporty car than this. Sure, yes, obviously the M cars are amazing. I've driven them and they're incredibly fast and just as refined. But like, for the average person, do you need more than this car? No, not at all. Rest of the car, for usability, the trunk is a good size. Back seats are fine, no different than any other 3 Series. These sport seats that come with this are incredibly comfortable. Ooh, I found something that's wrong with this car. Haha. So when I adjust this under leg piece right here that comes out and supports the underside of your leg, which most cars don't do, it shakes back and forth. Look at that. You hear that? It's loose. There, that's like that on both seats. Come on, BMW, get your act together. That's all I have to say about that. So, if you are interested in this segment of car, I urge you, go drive the A4. Go drive the C-Class. Go drive, what's the other one? Infiniti, right? Go drive those cars and drive this one. All right, I've driven some of those, not all of them, admittedly, but I can't think of a reason why I would want any more than this car as my everyday vehicle, because I am completely content. I love the gauges, I love the steering wheel, I love the interior, I love the way it drives, I love the transmission, I love the powertrain, I like the looks of the car, I like the brand. I'm a BMW guy, as you know. You might say that I'm biased. I'm not, honestly. I've driven the A4, the new A4, and the interior is better than this. It's actually arguably maybe a more comfortable car, right? But at the same time, the way that this goes around a corner, the way that it shifts, the way that it feels, the way that it sounds, I'll take this one, please. Thank you.
Just a little bit of a hit.
Edit that out, edit that out. Whoa! Oh! Take 2.
And here again, steer the outside of the car. So your best is a 128.8.
That's terrible.
Thomas, you are very good on camera.